Hey, what's going on? This is Martone, owner and trainer of Fuller Fitness, and I think this is the third week / series of my chest workout. To where the first time, I can't remember what order I did them in, but the first two videos, different videos, were one of incline, one of flat bench. So this time it will be incline flies with this series, just in terms of making it to where the videos aren't longer than they have to be, so that you guys can go on and do other things, and the fact that certain people might not necessarily watch depending on how long the video is. So with this one, I already did one set, so I think I always do one set beforehand to make sure, but this one isn't too bad. I think with this one it's just 115 pounds for incline dumbbell flies. I don't remember, it's hard for me to remember all the different numbers, but I think this is at you can barely notice that it's an incline because it's literally barely an incline. I think it's like 30 degrees or something like that. As far as the numbers, for those who actually might know more about that, I never paid attention to that. I just put the bench in a certain spot. The degree doesn't necessarily matter to me, but I have noticed that on certain benches it'll tell you the degrees, but I keep forgetting what they are. So I think this is 30 degrees, maybe the negative 30 degrees or whatever the freaking numbers are. But hopefully for people that are familiar with benches, you can kind of tell that this is at a slight incline, especially seeing that I believe I've done other videos where I was using a slight incline, except that I don't remember if I was actually talking in those. I think I just did the workout. So alright, so technically, as far as what I've done today compared to what you're gonna see, this is my second set, which is interesting, because if you haven't seen some of my other videos where I discussed it, just because depending on how heavy you're lifting and how many sets you're doing, how many reps you're doing, so depending on the volume, just because you did it one time don't mean you'll be able to do it a second, third, fourth, or however many times you're trying to do it. So I did it once. So let's see if I can do it a second time and possibly a third time. Excuse me. Again, it's 115 pounds. And it's not my max if you look through my stuff, depending on how far back, and I've done some interesting numbers over the last 2 years. So if you look down, you'll see I think my max was 133 or 135. So, but I think I likely only did one set of 133, 135, whatever it was. And I don't think I'm ever going to try to lift heavier than that for the sake of safety of my shoulder. And living where I live, I'm not in a basement or a garage. So if I drop it, that's going to do some freaking damage to this floor. Or at least a certain amount of damage, a lot of damage, I don't know, and I don't want to find out. I said it in the other 2 weeks, the previous 2 weeks, or however many weeks it's been, with my chest workout series. For anyone who might wonder why I'm only doing, especially for years, people watching some of my videos, any number of my videos, and if certain people wonder how come you only do like 2 or 3 reps or 2 to 4 reps. In my opinion, that's a stupid question, to a certain degree, depending on why certain people ask that question. Um, it should be, and I think I said it in some of the other videos, over the last few weeks, if not last couple or a few years. Depending on what your goal is, you'll lift a certain amount. Thankfully, um, thankfully, um, to a certain degree, um, people have different opinions on what, how, and when to do it, to do stuff. So you got certain people feel like you should do at least 8 reps. Certain people feel like you should do at least 10 reps. Certain people who feel like you should do at least 3 sets, if not more than 3 sets. Some people might feel like you should do at least 5 sets. Especially seeing that I think when I was in my early 20s, I think people said depending on what workout you were doing, you should do 5 sets of 5. I don't know if I've ever done that. I considered it, but I don't know if I've ever done that. Especially to do to move a certain load and doing 5 sets of 5. I did in high school though. I remember hearing somebody talking about doing 10 sets of 10. I've done that before. Never doing that again, but I've heard of people doing 10 sets of 10, and I've done that before. Not doing that again though. So never doing that again. I highly doubt I'm ever doing that again. So anyway, there's a reason to do 1 rep, multiple sets of 1, multiple sets of 2, multiple sets of 3. And my current goal for this month, even though it's different from what I said a week or 2 ago, I was going to originally do sets of 4 for this month, and change my mind probably like the next day. So which is fine, but I changed my mind like the next day, seeing that it's only a difference of 1 rep, but at the same time, depending on how heavy the load, it can make a big damn difference to be doing 3 reps with a certain amount of weight, 4 reps with a certain amount of weight, 8 reps with a certain amount of weight. So the goal is for you to do whatever works for you. So I do whatever the heck I want that works for me. And yes, I have been hurt a few times due to, so it's not anybody's fault other than likely mine. The couple of times I got hurt trying to lift a certain load, like the first time I did a 158-pound chest press on flat bench almost 3 years ago. I did fine when I did the first set. I think I've told this story a few times over the last 3 years, but I did fine when I did the first set. I did 158 chest press for the first time. I think I did 3 or 4 reps when I didn't record it. Not that that's important, but that's what I wanted to do that day. So when I did the second set and was trying to record it, when I went to do, I don't even think I got to do 1 rep. I think when I tried to press it, I heard and felt some stuff on my left elbow that I never want to hear again, which is interesting because I have heard it again since then. But I've learned of ways to strengthen my elbow, so hopefully I'm less likely to hear or feel that ever again. So again, just do what works for you and make changes as needed. And you know, you got to make changes eventually anyway, whether it's every month, every other month, every 6 weeks, every 8 to 12 weeks. Eventually you got to change something, a certain number of reps, lift a little lighter for like a week, if not longer, just to give your body some kind of rest, some kind of recovery. You know, regardless of how young some of you are, how much experience some of us have, everybody has to make a change for at least a week, if not a month. to try to prevent getting hurt from lifting heavy all the time. And then even if you're not lifting heavy, some people that are going, running fast as possible on a regular basis, lifting as fast as possible on a regular basis. So, do what works for you. I'm doing what works for me and stuff that I actually like. So, well, love. So, so flies, same weight, and that's another thing. I'll go into that after this set. If I can actually do it, which is likely I can. Hopefully. So technically that's my third set. And I'm gonna do one more. I kind of always think about doing more sets with stuff like that to develop my upper chest more. And I think a lot of times I just kind of feel like it with stuff like that. So again, if it works for you, go for it. If it hurts or doesn't work for you, or you don't look a certain way, not lifting a certain amount yet, depending on how long you've been trying, make changes as needed. Quitting is unnecessary, at least not the activity, probably. Figure out what changes need to be made in terms of how much time you spend in between sets, what distractions you have. I work out at home, so I don't have distractions. I don't have ladies walking around half naked like the ladies are doing at the gym now. They weren't doing that when I was in high school. They weren't doing that when I was in college. I don't even think they were doing it that much when I was in my late 20s. 11, 12, 13 years ago. And technically, I don't know if there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but in terms of me not drooling and being able to get my workout done without it taking a long period of time, not waiting for people to finish their set, not waiting for people to get off their phone, not waiting for people to stop talking. And then some of these people have the nerve to work out together with like 2 or more people and take their time using a certain piece of equipment like they're the only ones allowed to use it. So, and if they're constantly going compared to standing there talking, then that's not too bad. But, and then that's another thing. Subscribe, if you like at least a little bit of what's going on here with this video, and if you've seen any of the others, because what you see behind me right now is that there's nothing back there. Depending on when you see my next video within the next 2 weeks, it won't look like that anymore. Because I had a power rack, I had to sell it due to some personal issues, but I actually bought another one recently, not even a week ago, depending on when certain people see this video, but bought a new power rack. Hopefully, it's likely I'm gonna have to try to put it together myself. So, but by the next time I do a chest workout, not that it should matter all that much, but the next time I do a back workout, I'll be doing pull-ups here compared to some of the other videos you've seen over the last 8 months, maybe. Actually, no. I think it's only been a few months since I bought that or sold that power rack. I think I sold that power rack in August. So it hasn't been that long since people have seen me do pull-ups in here compared to the fitness center where I live, and the fitness center where I live is awful. Unless you're old or disabled, for those of us that are kind of strong, lifting in certain gyms, home gyms or whatever, fitness centers, wasted time for strong people, depending on how strong some of us are. All right. So again, hopefully you give this, as far as my channel is concerned, depending on how you feel about videos like this, getting certain information as well as seeing people lift kind of heavy, if not very heavy. Hopefully you subscribe, because Lord willing, going on 40 this year, 40-year-old vegan, lifting heavier than on many occasions, heavier than I ever thought I would. Sometimes this isn't one of them. 115 is fairly heavy, but this is not my max. So, subscribe so that you're more aware of the next video, with lifting heavy. I do want to share videos, more videos with showing you guys how to recover from, lifting this heavy, or those who are trying to lift this heavy, for those who consider this heavy, because it's almost like lifting two people, two teenage ladies that might weigh 115 pounds each. So yeah, subscribe so that you're more aware of the next videos. Hopefully you like this video and actually press the like button to help me out, so that for more people that are interested in stuff like this, at least a little bit interested, curious, because when I was growing up, I had no idea how heavy some of the dumbbells were. I've said that many times over the years, because it's true. The heaviest dumbbell they had at the gym I went to was 100, and then a guy brought in some 120s, and then he was trying to sell them. Nobody bought them, and then he just left them for whatever reason, thankful to us. So I was finally able to do 120. I think I was in my late 20s, and then I found out that I can actually buy dumbbells to where I can put my own weight on it. And I've been lifting pretty damn heavy for the last 3 years. So the last 4 to 6 years, I've been lifting pretty heavy and lifting heavier over the last 3 years. So keep practicing, make changes as needed. Hopefully you enjoy it, but even if you don't enjoy it but have a goal in mind, keep it going, make changes as needed. I make changes almost weekly as far as number of reps, the angle that I choose, how fast I go sometimes, usually not. So I usually don't go fast, even though I'm not against it. I loved it when I was younger. Last set. No matter what, last set. So hot diggity. First time I've done 4 sets, even though you didn't see the first one. Yeah, I usually don't do 4 sets. Shoot, I usually don't do 3. And I didn't do that because of actually that's not true. I was gonna say I didn't do that because of the recording, but for the most part I did, because if I wasn't recording, I would only did 2 sets. So, one, to prove to myself I can actually do a certain number of sets if I choose to, with a certain load. And as far as my chest workout and the stuff that I do, that's literally it. So the goal was to make it where the videos weren't that long. 1 video for flat, one video for incline, this video for incline flies, unless I do another one for flat bench flies. Other than that, I did what I wanted as far as that, with high hopes for those of you who have seen any of these, that you like it. Actually press the like button to help me subscribe. And then, if you know of people who might be interested, or if you definitely know people that are interested, but even people who might be, share it and see what happens. Especially for certain people, seeing someone doing flies or anything with 115-pound dumbbells, seeing that so many people seem to love the barbell more, which is fine. For those who haven't heard, for me, I prefer dumbbells, better range of motion, less stress on my shoulder, less stress on my elbow, even though it could be the opposite for others. So again, like I said at least twice in this video, if there are certain things that work for you and you believe is working, compared to doing it because it's popular, or doing it because you saw other people do it, aka somewhat popular, just do what works for you. The number of sets, even though I don't believe people should do that many sets, depending on why you're doing that. How much time you take in between, depending on what you consider too long, but hopefully it's not too long in between sets, especially for those who complain about not having enough time. So obviously, if you're spending a certain number of time in between sets, or doing a certain number of sets, because again, I think a certain number of sets are overrated. I did 4 sets because I felt like it, kind of. Making sure you're getting your sleep, making sure you're hydrated. Not that you guys know what time it is that when I recorded this, but I didn't record this as early as I wanted to. I had intent on recording this video earlier, but for some reason I went to bed, I slept decent for like 50 minutes, and then for some reason could not go back to sleep. I'm not sure if it's my fault, or it's just one of those nights to where for some reason I couldn't get as much sleep as I should have. But I did take a nap, which I don't like doing, but I took a nap. Feel much better than I did before taking the nap. So again, getting your sleep, getting and staying hydrated, eating a certain amount of food, not too much food, depending on what your goal is, and almost regardless of what your goal is. And again, if it works for you, whatever you're doing, go for it. But if it's not, try to do something else. And then the interesting thing about, if you don't know what that something else is, could be, should be, I am the owner and trainer of Fuller Fitness, which is online personal training for whoever my clients is, even living in the city that I live in. All my programs are online. No one sees your profile, your progress pics, for those who care about progress pics. No one sees what's in your profile other than you and me, unless you share it. Daily workouts, depending on what we agree upon in terms of how many workouts per week, how many workouts per month, depending on how many months that you are able to, willing to do, and can afford. Being able to message me in the app, basically text me, with questions, comments, concerns, different, you won't be doing the same workouts every week, definitely not every month, depending on how long you're with, regardless of how long you're with me. Getting the support that you need, with high hopes. Certain people don't want an abundance of attention. Some people are needy, witnessed too many of those. And again, it just depends on whether or not you need help. And then for those like myself, when I was growing up, I don't know if I needed it, but I wanted it because there was so much I did not know, and I wasn't determined to pretend that I knew stuff that I didn't know. So I'll put the information at the bottom in terms of the dumbbells that I use from Kensui Fitness. For those who might want to look into that, I'll put the information at the bottom for that. Information for you to send me a direct message on Instagram if you have questions, comments, or concerns, especially if you're respectful. Only if you're respectful. If you're not, then between being ignored and blocked. So put information at the bottom of the video for the dumbbells that I use, as well as other equipment that they have. That I got a weight vest over here that I got from that website as well. And then the information if you're actually interested at least a little bit in possibly hiring me as your online personal trainer, for those who want to increase their strength, increase their size, and either need help or want help. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Martone, owner and trainer of Fuller Fitness. Take care.